French people have almost always been known for their style. French women in particular have a reputation for being extremely well dressed and put together. Despite Paris being considered one of the fashion capitals of the world, French people are a lot less likely to jump on fashion trends because of our culture around style. One of these trends is athleisure, athletic clothing worn in leisure settings. While athleisure has become massively popular in places like the US, Canada, the UK, French people haven't exactly embraced this trend. In today's lesson, I will dive deeper into this cultural difference and explain a bit more about French style. C'est parti. My mom once told me that when she was young and growing up in Mexico, she thought that all French women were wearing high-end fashion brands like Dior and Chanel in their everyday life. And of course, that's not true. Although French people respect la mode, fashion, and la haute couture, we don't wear their brands, especially outside of really big occasions. Other more accessible French fashion brands still offer high quality clothes without the bling or the inflated prices of the biggest fashion brands. You'll find a list of them in my blog post for today's lesson. You will find the link below the video in the description. Because I have to say, in France, you do need to bien s'habiller, dress well, even when you're running errands. It is true that French people tend to dress more formally than Americans for most occasions. French culture tends to value elegance and sophistication over comfort and practicality a bit more than the American culture, which means that there are standards, especially in the more posh areas, and I know especially more in Paris. Even for une tenue décontractée, a casual outfit. If there are no direct translation in French for the English word judgmental, it might be because it is an expected way of life here. I am half joking, of course, because culture is hard to define and it all depends on the specific people that you meet and the situation that you're in. Some French people are going to have different standards than others, and it will all depend on your occasion and things like your social class as well. But it's not all about the money. French people can dress well even with second-hand clothes. We really loved the rise of vintage. We enjoy finding beautiful clothes in une friperie, and thrift stores like Emmaüs, a bit like Oxfam in the UK, are getting more and more popular. Of course, you can also upcycle your clothes or match them with accessories. Outfits can be a beautiful way to express your personality and your creativity. But whatever you do in France, don't wear athleisure, especially for events or outings like a brunch with friends, but even for running errands at the local supermarket. And some people are even going to say, even on your way to the gym. And here I am not talking about the quality. Because a lot of athleisure can be very expensive and well made and very stylish. It just doesn't seem to have the same vibe in France. You might see people wearing des leggings or a sports bra or even un jogging sweatpants at la salle de gym, the gym. But it would be rare to see someone wearing the same outfits while doing les courses, grocery shopping. Sports clothes are actually used for exercising and that's all. Or of course as part of the urban youth culture with le survêtement that we call le survêt. On the other hand, French people do wear sneakers in their everyday lives. We call them des baskets. The singular is une basket for sneakers. And obviously, we don't wear des talons hauts, high heels to walk around. But let's take a step back. Up until now, I talked about fashion standards, and this is a big part of the French view on wearing athleisure. But it's not the only piece of the puzzle. Another one is about faire de l'exercice, exercise in French. People are generally way less intense about it in France. I made a whole lesson about this topic and you will find the link in the blog post for today's lesson. French people don't go to the gym as much as American people. It's not as much of a thing. When I exercise, I would rather go to the park with a friend or faire du jogging, the French way to say running or going for a jog. Faire du jogging. However, I have to admit that gyms are on the rise in France. And you see more and more of des salles de sport in French cities. And maybe this will change the standards around athleisure in the years to come. So what do French people wear instead of athleisure? Well, it depends on the context and the season, of course. For most French people, outfits are not a way to show off, but they're more of a reflection of who you are. And the key thing is about being less intense again, which means nothing too casual. Just like for athleisure, you won't see someone wearing pajamas outside just because it's more comfortable, but also nothing too chic. You'll fit in better with a blend of nice accessories and less ostentatious, clothes. And we tend to avoid the brightest colors as well. Of course, these are just generalizations. There are exceptions to all the rules, and you might see some French people wearing athleisure from time to time. But if you want to blend in with the locals and avoid looking like a tourist when you visit France, you might want to leave this athleisure at home. Keep exploring French culture with me with this lesson on why French people never hug. Click right here on your screen to keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video. Allez, à tout de suite!